Okay, boys. When I analyzed Life's match-fixed games, I think I might have mentioned one of the best TVZ games that I've seen in my life, and I'm about to share this with you guys. This was semi-finals of SSL 2015, one of the greatest TVZ matches. I just remember it as one of the greatest. I don't actually remember exactly what happens in the game, but I remembered this game was burnt into my brain memory. Okay, is this the match fix game? No, this is a normal game. Okay, this is a normal game. Check this out. I want to watch this with you guys and share this experience. Okay, now the reason, actually I know why we mentioned this, because when I was looking through Life vs Dream match fix games, again, not this one but some other game in another tournament, I mentioned that Dream, the Terran player, is back because he went to military, and apparently he is insanely good. So I wanted to cast this, or kind of cast, I guess, look at this game, because I want to show you how good this guy was. I remember I saw this game live and I was so impressed by Dream. So impressed. So again, this is the Terran player that was in the army. Now he's back and apparently he's destroying people left and right, smashing stats, smashing the top Korean Zergs, winning online cups left and right. And you know, someone might be like, it's an online cup, who cares? Easy peasy, LOL. But does that mean he's gonna win the next GSL? I mean, I don't know, maybe. But that is impressive feat. And he might be back to his original form, which is why I wanted to look at this game together with you guys. So this was again semifinals of the SSL. Life was leading 3-2. This is a great series, by the way. If you enjoy this game, this was definitely the best game out of the series, the whole series. But if you enjoy this game after watching now with me, definitely check out the rest of it. They played a couple of times, so make sure it's this one. You can see the title in the top left, right there. Boom. And yeah. So Life back then was, one of the best / the best Zerg player. Dream was actually I think this is like his first breakout performance that he had. I think, I'm not 100% sure, maybe it was the tournament before, but he was always like a really good Terran and he was doing really well in team leagues, but he never did well in individual leagues. And Korea always had a bunch of Terran players that were really good, and so it wasn't like, seeing Dream was like, wow, this guy's insane. I remember after this best of 7, I was like, this guy is legit really good. So yeah, here we are. Okay, so Dream went for Command Center first, and I think Life went for Hatch first. I actually haven't paid attention to Life's build. And again, this is not a match fix game, okay? This is a real freaking game. So he gets debated by Life with an Overlord. The Lings are coming in hot. Look at that. Insta reaction to pull from the factory and to start making a Deepa. Insta reaction. Beautiful. And I know that might seem like a simple thing, but that's the kind of thing that like is a difference between losing to those 2 Marines and saving them. Look at all the cute moves. Putting the SCVs down stacked up. The way you do that is you click them on minerals, but you close the wall so all the SCVs stack up so that the Zerglings can't kill all of them. I don't know about that drone. But yeah, overall, like, you'll see. I'm very excited for this. So this used to be a thing back in the day, by the way. If Terran would go for like CC first, the Zerg can speedling flood, because the Terran only has like 2 Marines in a bunker. So even if you have a bunker, it doesn't matter because the Zerg can just run by or just kill your bunker. And it's Life, so he always played aggressive, so this wasn't like anything weird for him to do mass link run-bys like this at a random moment, because he was kind of known for that as well. Okay, so right now the game, obviously initially he defended that pretty well, but this is the problem when you're in this part of the game, and this is the problem with CC first builds, right? initially, this was good for Dream because he retreated. He didn't really lose anything. But now he can't go down the ramp. Or now he's going. But earlier he couldn't because he doesn't know if there's like more links or that's it. These are all the links. Because you don't have a Reaper, you don't have Hellions yet. So if he went down and then like 20 more links came in, he just loses the game straight up. That's why you have to kind of stay back, but then you kind of get behind. Even though the Zerg, you know, semi all-in push didn't really work, but you can see he's behind on workers right now. But he has triple CC, and that's obviously pretty good. Because life was on 2 base. It was actually very common for the Zergs to stay on 2 base for a while and go Spire first. And it kind of... It was like the most common thing, but it was, you know, when you see it, you wouldn't be like, whoa, he's going 2 base Spire or something like that. It was, yeah, it was a safe opening, and you get your mutts to start harassing the Terran and kind of maybe even keep the Terran in your main base, and you pop this little spine crawler and a couple of Queens with Transfuse to defend. Alright, so the push is coming in. Again, this was another push that was super common. Doesn't matter if you went for like 2 base play or like triple CC kind of thing. This was super common. The Marines with Hellbats as well. RIP. So yeah, life in a little bit of trouble, you know. Hellbats in his base, but he's not actually losing a lot of drones. I think he lost like 2 drones, maybe 1. 3 drones? Oh, 2 drones, there it is. So yeah, the mutas come out, and obviously this is looking real good for Dream. But from this point, the Zerg can mass drone. Like, just mass drone, nothing else. And the Terran can't really do anything because there's mutas. You don't want to drop. But life being life, he's not going to mass drone because, again, he's super aggressive. Is this the highest quality? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Life being life, he just makes a lot of Zerglings, which is kind of like how he played. He had these decisions where, you know, maybe he knew he can do a lot of damage. Maybe he knew that, well, he saw that it's a triple CC, so maybe he knew that Terran's not going to have enough units to defend. So he puts on some aggression, because that's like, what, 7 Marines there? So he's going for the aggression. And again, making the Terran lift off, and it's just all kinds of yikes, right? Because the Zerg is on 3 base. Even though he has less drones, he's still mining more efficient off of 2 base. Killing, what was it, 3-4 supply depots. And see, this is the thing. A lot of the Zergs back then, and even now, would go back to droning. Because that's the logical thing to do. But I say this often in my stream, sometimes doing the worst thing is better. Because people don't expect it. So you can see Dream right now, he's trying to land the CC back down because you kind of, you know, need to. But life has different plans for him. Now, check this out. Look at this. Look at this hold. Look at his split. Let's look at his control. Do you see that? Do you see how many Banelings there were just now? Look at this. Bane snipes with Marines. Sniping mutas. Picking up in the medevac. Very nice. At this point, it's like life is committing a lot. Like, this is a big committal. But he's still killing. He killed 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs, just preventing mining. And, yeah. Not the position I would say you want to be as Terran. Because it's, you know, unburrowing the Widowmine, because he doesn't want the Widowmine to... Oh, he didn't want the Widowmine to go off on the Marines, and then it still went on to Marines. Again, look at these splits. Come on. Okay. Pepe hands. Just as I say it. Oh, he went to pick up the SCVs in the medevac. So at this point, like, this game looks pretty done, right? I mean, he has 2 Marines right now. 1 Marine. 1 Marine. And life is flooding links. So this is looking terrible. 22 SCVs, 24 SCVs lost. There's the mine. Goes even like on the morphing Baneling and kills only 1 thing. Which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's trying to desperately land this base. Because even though he knows there's, you know, Zerg has units, if you just stay in the main base, yeah, you're gonna survive, but you're gonna lose the game because you're not mining. And from their point of view, I've been in this situation before. This is an extremely hard situation because you don't know if the Zerg is droning or he's still making units behind it. That's the real problem. So that's why he's going for the drop. Because he thinks that the Zerg is droning up behind it, he's super far ahead, so he wants to put the counter pressure. But he doesn't realize that the Zerg is on only 40-45 drones, right? Because again, he can't know. And this is a risky move because if the Zerg catches this with mutas, then you just lose the whole medevac. And that's kind of, you know, yikes, obviously. See, he loses the medevac, but he gets the Zerg units out of position so he can finally land his natural. Now, he does have an upgrade lead, so it's 1-1 versus 0-0. Life was committing to this quite hardcore. He's 20 SCVs down. Not even mining gases on the natural. I think he's on 3 barracks, and I'm not sure even if they have add-ons. So, yeah, not the greatest situation. As you can see, Life's creep spread is Kappa because he probably expected to finish the game. He didn't expect for this to go on, so he didn't bother with creep spread at all. And again, Life is like this super aggressive Zerg, so it's like he was often fighting on the you know, other side of the map and not his side of the map. I mean, Mutiling Bane, in my opinion, was so much better to watch because it was just more entertaining engagements, and also I talked about this before, but the 6 worker start made for much more entertaining games from a spectator point of view because you would have longer periods of Link Bane Muta versus Bio. These days it's usually like 2 drops, 3 drops, and then 1 main fight, and then it's Ultras and Broodlords and Ghosts. But back in the day, this lasted much longer, and there was a lot more gameplay going on with these lower tier units, I guess. Did you start with 6? Yeah, you start with 6 workers, and this is harder to swarm. Okay, there's the drop. He's trying to find an opening to do some damage because he probably feels he's behind. But you can see he's 40 supply behind. Obviously, pretty bad for him, right? Not great. Not great. Let's just say that. He's trying to land his 3rd. This was one of my favorite maps, by the way. Merry-Go-Round. Great map. One of the very few maps that were 3-player maps that were actually good and playable. Another one that I can think of is Catalana. Oof. Oh, he picks up. But I think the Baneling hit the Mariners. Okay, so now that the engagements start. Now it's action time, baby. +2. Weapons finished, +2 armor about to finish. Look at that spread. Look at that spread. That's like peanut butter right there. Look at that spread. Look at that micro. Look at that micro, dude. And someone tells me innovation, this, that. Look at it. Are you watching this? Did you see that defense? I mean, he's still getting wrecked, right? But he was like 40 supply down. And yeah, he had an upgrade lead. But that was insane micro. Insane, like top micro. Life keeps with the aggression, but Dream has 10 Mariners and he's going for it. He has like a medevac for each Marine almost. Look at this split. Look at this split. Insane. I remember watching this game and I was like, man, he's playing so well, but he's gonna lose. You know, like it's a rough situation, right? It's like, how do you defend these things? Going for the 3rd, he's trying to mule up, he's trying to mine. I'm pretty sure his main is mined out at this point, so he's like desperately trying to mule the 3rd base. Life's still keeping on the aggression. Look at this mineralized, they're very like unsaturated. Couple of Mariners there. The supply still not looking great. He's trying to establish it. And at this point, like, he can't even afford anything. He knows he has the upgrade lead, and he doesn't even make Marauders, because Marines are better if you have godlike micro. Look at this. Sees that shit instantly. Beautiful. Amazing. Muta's coming in. And even Widow Mines, I mean, actually Widow Mines would probably be good to build, but he chose the Marines because, again, probably because of the upgrade lead. You can see his barracks are naked, doesn't even have add-ons. I mean, doesn't need add-ons because he can't really produce super hardcore. Sneaks in 2 Widow Mines. And then disaster strikes. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, counter aggression. Now he's catching up in supply a little bit. He's doing it. He's doing it. Like, the fact that he was down over 20 workers against, like, probably the best Zerg back then, and came back, look at this micro, came back with that insane micro is so impressive. And this guy's back to StarCraft, look at this. Like, even though he loses a fight, that was extremely cost efficient for him. Was Dream doing mass Marines to GSL? Yeah, apparently, yeah. Well, he did have Widow Mines, but yeah. Honestly, Dream probably, just before he quit, I think he quit at the end of HOTS, is probably the Terran that impressed me the most with his micro and macro. I feel like out of, like in like a shocking way, in like, whoa, like I can't believe he did that kind of thing. Because a lot of other Terran players, you can see them slip up quite often, but his micro was on freaking point. We're not gonna watch the full match, but I want to show you guys the ending as well, because I know a lot of people are gonna be like, how did this end? How did the game end? Or the series, how did it end? So this is the 3-3 Game 7. This is also one of my favorite maps, by the way, Deadwing. I had so many great games on this map. Do you think going back to 6 worker would improve the game? Yes, I do. I do. I was one of the people that was very for swapping to 12 workers. But, and I think it was a lot of fun and it was great initially, but I do think that going back to 6 workers would be better. Because, for example, look at this period right now. I think it's better for pro level and casual level. Look how much time you have to, like, you know, you get a cloak banshee, you get a Hellion or 6 Hellions, you control the map. Now it's like you get 6 Hellions, and by the time 6 are out, there's already Hydras coming out. You get like +2 started, there's Hive started, you know? And it's just like, it's too fast, you know? The transitions are too fast. I remember back then, you get so much value out of your Banshee. Like, look now, this is a cloakless Banshee, which was very common, by the way, in HOTS. You force the Zerg to make spores and stuff if they don't scout your starport. But I think Life scouted the starport and so no cloak, so he didn't make any spores. But Banshee had such an important role because the whole game, the build-up is so much higher that that you had a lot more time to do things with your units, especially if they're like harassment units. And those kinds of games, like the last one that you saw, that kind of game was so much better, and that would never happen in Legacy of the Void, right? Because in Legacy of the Void, the Zerg economy, you know, after the initial Dreams lift of the natural, if that was Legacy, you would have so much economy, you could literally throw up 25 drones, and then you're so far ahead, there's no way of coming back. But in Heart of the Swarm, that was different. Like, yeah, you could have droned up, but the Terran still has a chance to go across the map and do something about it. And that's a big difference. I mean, look, it's 10 minutes into the game, 11, and the Zerg just got up to 77 drones. In Legacy of the Void, at like 9-10 minutes, that's a max out at pro level. Like, you're maxed out on supply, and you're going into Hive and Ghost and everything else. And it's like, I mean, sure, you don't have this downtime, right? But this is a very, very passive game. If this was a more action-packed game, then you would see like the one medevac drop, like going back and forth and, you know, harassing and the Zerg defending, and it's not as explosive, I feel like. That's like the main thing. Okay, the Terran. Moving on. I'm actually very excited for next season of GSL, if there is one. Hopefully there is one, to see Dream perform, because I really hope he keeps practicing, because he used to be insanely good. Insanely good. Yeah, and there's also, that's right, there's also way less time for mid-game fights. So not only early game, but mid-game is also heavily affected. Because you, in Legacy of the Void, I mean, look at this. It's 12 minutes and the mutas are just coming out, right? They're just coming out. So now there's at least 3 to 8 minutes of mutas. Muta-Link Bane versus Bio. And, I mean, whoever I asked, or whoever was watching StarCraft, everyone loved this Muta-Link Bane versus Bio Widowmine. Everyone loved to watch it because it was very back and forth. The micro was impressive. It was really cool. And you can see they're almost maxed out, but neither of them were like, I'll just go Broodlords or Ultras, because you needed to stay on this deck for a while, and then when you get enough economy, when you deflect an attack, then you have the chance to go Hive. These days as a Zerg, you just go Hive. There's no threat, there's no threat to you at all. And if you would go like battle cruisers at this point as Terran, you would simply get overwhelmed by the Zerg. You would actually just die. 12 minutes in game, that's to the old clock. I actually don't know when the change to in-game time was made, but I'm pretty sure this is with actually don't know. But you can see, like, look at this army, To me, this feels more like StarCraft II than Legacy of the Void StarCraft II. Look at this Zerg army. You don't really see that too much in Legacy of the Void anymore. Look at these battles. Oh my god, that Widowmine shot just killed so much. The splits, the engagements, and then when you run out of the ground army as a Zerg, you pull back with the mutas, you reinforce with the lings, and you go again. So again, in this game, Dream, kind of, getting wrecked there a little bit. Getting a little bit wrecked. And I would actually love to see how the 6 workers would work out with like Liberators and like the Ravagers and stuff like that, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Like you had, did you see that? You had time to do this. When was the last time you saw like Widowmine drops as a harassment in mid-game against Zerg? I mean, maybe you would see like 1 drop and that's it. But you did so many drops like these. Look at that, like positioning with the Marauders. Do you see that? Putting them in the part of the wall and then Marines back. Like at this point in Legacy, you already either won by breaking through like this or you lost. There's no like, ooh, who's gonna win, there's back and forth. But in here, again, because the economy, the build-up worked much slower, if the Zerg right now goes for Hive and goes Ultras, the Terran has a big opportunity to counterattack. And that's one big difference between Legacy and Heart of the Swarm. In Legacy, the correct move here, go back, go Hive, and then just aim with Ultras and you win. But in here, if you would do that, you actually give an opportunity for Terran to counterattack and kill you with Bio. Because you would be investing your money into tech. That's why life keeps reinforcing with Zerglings and Banelings, because that's how you played. 12 workers is fine, just the fact that everything builds faster is the issue. Nothing builds faster. The reason why things build faster is because of the 12 worker start, because your economy, it has an exponential growth to it. The more economy you have, the faster you're going to grow that economy. That's the problem. So you can see, like, after all that fighting, life is just now starting Infestation Pit, and look at their supply. They're dead even. Dead even. And I mean, I've had my own games, guys. Not to say the Legacy is terrible and like I hate it. It's still a great game, but it's a different game. That's the thing, because in Legacy, these kinds of fights don't happen. This is more like Brood War than it is Legacy of the Void, I feel like. Look at that. Burrowed Claws drops Widowmines again. Mutas clean up. Look at that army. The good old M. And I feel like the maps were way better back then. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the maps were so much more interesting and playable. Like, for example, Deadwing had that drop, or that ledge all the way to the right, where you could drop above the bases. And it was just like a thing for that map, you know? There was a lot of different like avenues, and watchtowers were placed more interesting than it is these days. Because I feel like these days all the maps are the same. It's like, oh, let's put an expansion, let's throw down 2 watchtowers and fuck it. But back then, a lot of the maps were played specific. Look at that split. A lot of the maps were played specific style because of the map, not because of the meta. Sick micro. Action on both sides. But you know what's interesting? Look at during all of that, their macro is like perfect. That's the thing. Like, look at Dream's macro, perfect. Look at that. Not even like, don't even come and tell me like, oh, Maru has better macro. Look at his money. Look at it. He just doesn't go. It's just constantly low. It's impressive, and he's microing constantly. That's super impressive. And it's so hard to do. Because if he was like just microing and like he was spending the money, it's like, okay, that's cool, that's impressive. But he's microing like a god, and he's still spending his money like a god. Like, just pay attention. The fight, and then he still spends money. Look at that. That's sick. These are great games. Yeah, these are great games. This was a great best of 7. I'm not gonna watch through the whole best of 7 because this is we watched game 6 and now 7. But if you're interested, watch it. It was a great match. And do you see how back and forth it is? Like, after all the trading, after Life killing his workers, after Dream killing his workers, they're dead even on supply. Dead even. And they're like neither of them can really produce a lot of units. You know, they're spending all their money on units because if you don't, you're just dead. Oof. And that's one, like, I love Legacy, I love StarCraft, but that's one thing in Legacy that annoys the hell out of me. If you have one bad fight, the game is done. Especially against Zerg. Like, it's just fucking done. There's nothing you can do. Because they go hive straight away, and you get beat up by higher tech. But in here, even though Life was trading initially better, the Dream had better trades after, and it's like this back and forth constantly. And look at that, 23 minutes, and they're still fighting with these units. Because the moment someone tries to go higher tech, they will fall behind in army, and they have the chance to die straight up. And obviously this was a super high level game, so I'm not gonna say that every game was like this, you know? But if any other player tried to tech at this point, either of these players would have killed him. Easy. See, this is what I mean with the old maps. Like, look, that's so interesting to watch. These kinds of like positions you can use with your army to gain an advantage, or where you can harass with mutas and so on. It's very kind of linear these days as far as maps go. They're very like, you know what I mean? Yeah, HOTS felt like action never stopped. That's right. Because in HOTS, even when it got to Brood Lord Infestors, there were still drops constantly. Like, look, non-stop. Was there any point where there was no action in this game? It's sick. And there's constantly, every time Dream loses an army, there's another army moving out. And there's another army moving out. And while the army is moving, there's an army defending, and there's an army dropping, and there's Wood Mines dropping, and there's mutas flying in. Like, it's super impressive. This Dream guy had a really bright future. Why did he stop playing? He went to the army, and now he's back. And that's why I wanted to show you guys this game. Because if Dream keeps practicing, like, do you see how good this guy is? And again, don't even dare bring me innovation. They'd be like, oh, innovation is also really good. No. Guys, Look at this guy, he's a fucking machine. And apparently he's already smashing top Korean pros. So I really hope that there's GSL next season, and I really hope he keeps practicing. Because I'm telling you, this guy, next GSL can get round 4, if not even better. If the nerves don't get to him. Insane mechanics. Insane mechanics. Look at this, drop, dead base, widow mines, drops. He's losing drones somewhere. I think it's in the natural. Look, in the natural, there's widow mine as well. Such a sick player. Such a sick player. I heard something about a swarm host meta that nobody liked watching in HOTS. See, that's the thing. A lot of players did go swarm host and abuse that. You cannot go swarm host against... well, you would go swarm host, but against mech. But the thing is, Dream never played mech. He always played bio. And you cannot do swarm host against bio. At the end of Heart of the Swarm, which was around this point, every Terran player was using mech because mech was seen as not necessarily better, but easier way to play than bio, because with bio you had to play like that to win against Zerg at a highest level. People started going mech more and more, and then Zerg started going swarm hosts. The thing is, the top level Korean Terran still went bio. And I mean, imagine going swarm host against this. The moment you queue up swarm host, you're gonna die straight away, because it just didn't work against bio. And you didn't really have time to rush Broodlords because you would die to these pushes. Like straight up, you would not have the economy to deal with it. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to show you only game 6, but I showed you game 7 as well. Again, if you want to watch it, I'll link it to you guys in the chat to catch the full series. You can see the name in the top left. But yeah, great series. I'm super excited for Dream to see how he performs in the tournaments, because again, he is back. And that's it. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please suggest other games you want me to watch. Maybe some of the greatest games of Wings, Heart of the Swarm, whatever it is. But for now, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another video.